means he will give the sutra also. I will be giving that. Eth means these eth letters are only used for marking some changes in the form, but these are not
Okay.
actually used in the language. So they
Okay.
get deleted. In grammar, you need no x y. You are making no. Why you need x
Hmm.
y? Because to
Now
understand.
that I understand. What I was asking,
Yes.
why this particularly ka, cha, or ta, these are used, and not the
Yes,
other
yes, that is
consonants?
also will come. What kind of
Okay.
operation takes place where? So when there are more than one operation, you have to choose different sounds. So he has used only sounds. Okay, these are the
Okay.
sounds available in the Shiva Sutra, phonetic alphabet. No, so he has used the same sound
Hmm.
as the halant or it. All the
Hmm.
it varnas are used with the different sounds only, and each sound gives
Okay.
you a different operation. Just for example,
Okay.
if it is kiti, so whatever change we get in the language, no, we have guna, bruddhi, we are going to deal with, it is
Hmm.
stopped sometimes. Always guna does not take place or bruddhi. So these are
Hmm.
certain specific function, internal function, which grammatical is always underlying what you work out. But when you speak,
Okay.
sounds are uttered. So the it is a technical used just like as a marker. We use it for grammatical analysis. But when you use
Okay.
in the
Now,
language, that is dropped. That is not there.
may I ask one more thing? Like
Huh.
is a marker.
It's a
He
marker.
has used it. He has used it twice. But why couldn't he choose no at one place and maybe no or something else at
Yes,
the other
that
place?
will come. That will also explain.
Okay.
When na
Hmm.
is added, it is a niti. So all these we'll see these pratyas whenever there is all the pratyas are attached with a it letter. All the
Okay.
pratyas are
Hmm.
around 3,000 pratyas, suffixes,
Okay.
which are added with only it letters.
Okay.
So if
All
it
right.
is teeth,
Thank.
it has one function. If it is teeth, it is another function. It is teeth, another function. So for that also he has made given sutras,
Okay.
which sound is used for what.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the arrangement is there
Okay.
internal. So that also will come. These are called the Anubandhas or Eth letters. It's a special, again his innovation.
Hmm. All right.
So your other link, okay, there's feedback from two systems. You're logged in from two devices, sir.
Yeah, one for the sound, the other for seeing the what is written because on the mobile I cannot see it very clearly. Is it a problem?
No, sir, not you, sir. I think
Okay.
Dash, sir, has joined from two devices. Now it is logged out.
Acha.
Yeah.
They have some
Uh,
connection
Okay.
issues today.
yes,
We're
yes,
just
yes.
Okay.
resolving it.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Huh.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
So let us now start.
There is some
So,
feedback.
so let us start with our prayer. Okay. So, Yena Charasamam
So
Nayam.
sorry, there is still some feedback.
Why it is not closed?
Uh,
No,
Chittaranjan ji will
yours.
need to mute.
okay, I have muted Chitranjan, sir. Okay, now
Oh,
it's
sorry.
perfect.
Uh, okay now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, let us start with Yenaksharasamam Nayam
Yenaksharasamaam nayam
Adhigamya Maheswarat
अधिगम्य महेश्वरात्
कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं
कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तम्
तस्मै पाणिनये नमः.
तस्मै पाणिनये नमः.
So next is go to Shiva Sutras. Now let us recite. This has to be recited very perfectly, and it is the basic, as I told you. This is the keyboard for us. So whole net it is Sutra Jala. With this you can create whole languages created or generated. So let us just recite this. You have to split always. I would. Let us read. Would. Relate. Relate. Ayouch, Ayavarat, Learn, Nyamananam, Nyamananam, all the 5 nasals. Jabhaya, Ghadathas, Jabagadadas, Kapha Chathatha Chatatam, Kapaya, Sasasar, Hal. Iti Maheswarani Sutrani. Sutrani Anadi Sangyarthani. Anadi Esam Antya Itaha. So this is the last line. Iti Mahes. It is the line given by the commentator. Commentator tries to explain that these are the Maheshwara Sutras. As we have said, it has come from Maheshwara. And on Adi Sangyartha, this on, in, all these Sangya, what we call the Pratyaharas, they are all made. And Esa Mantya, all the finals of the sutras are called Itaha. It means the sound that is to be deleted. So certain things we use in analysis in the grammar, you are using certain symbols only to explain the things, but they are not exactly used in the language by the people. People use the language, but to explain that language, we use some other language, what we call technically. We give some markers to make understand. So grammatical analysis always uses with language which is not spoken, but it is used for analysis purpose. When you have x1, x2, x2 power 3, all this comes mostly in the grammatical level in analysis. But when it is spoken, only the output is shown. The input is always grammatical rules, text or uses only the technically the language. That is called the analytical language, or we call it technical language. So that's why these eth letters are technically used to demarcate. These are called markers. Here they demarcate the boundaries of the sound groups. So it shows that there are different markers, mean there are different groups of sounds. Why in groups? Because in group they function. When they are used in the language, they change in group. Even one rule, one word is used for one, suppose say acha, means it is applicable to all vowels. If a word ach is used, so it is cha, no? And so it is cha, number 4. If you see the cha, then or to cha. Ach means all vowels included. So instead of saying o, a, e, u, ru, lu, all these separately, so they are told as, or they are known as ach. So through ach, we understand all the vowels. So that's why cha as a iti indicates that from beginning to cha. So this is called the formation of pratyahara. So there is a sutra also by Panini, Adi Rantena Sahita. We'll be giving that Adihi, the beginning, and Antya Iti Varna. So whenever a pratyahara is formed, it is understood from the beginning where it starts till the end with which you are marking. Say for ach means or to cha. So all vowels coming. If it is ik, u, ru, lu. Only 4. So the groupings, so because ik, they function uniformly. So that's why they are grouped. Ik is another pratyahara. Ach, ak, ichi. So these things, that is what how the pratyaharas are formed. But for that, Panini has given the sutra adihi antena saha ita. So with ith varna, with the final ith, if you take from the beginning, if it is ach, begins with a, ending with cha. Whatever sounds come in between, they are called the vowels or swara according to. So let's see, look at this, how he is making coding. By using the same adir antena sahita. Okay, adihi, the first sound, with antyo ith, the final ith. So it makes the pratyahara. So the pratyahara, how do you know? He has only used this sutra. From that, the commentators have tried to understand that this means a pratyahara is made only with the beginning. Other, that's why you are able to say ach, and he is used in the sutra. Okay, so let us move to the today's lecture. So what we gave yesterday, I think this all we are doing within the framework of the adequacies, what Chomsky has tried to propose, that all the changes. Yes, he has added observational adequacy. Yesterday I gave two observation. These three you just look at. To be a good grammar, to be complete grammar, we say adequate. So now we are using the word adequate. Let us not say complete, because Bloomfield said, other people said it is a complete grammar. Pranini, even it is in one respect, we will not, unless we study completely, we do not know whether it is complete or not. But let us now consider in terms of linguistic or Chomskyan linguistic, that adequacies. What is adequate? That means which takes care of things which are known to us. At least whatever we know, we must be able to explain. Then we can say, yes, it is adequate. Now, these adequacies represent three things, that is observational adequacy, descriptive adequacy, explanatory adequacy. So what is happening? Now, whenever you are using a rule, how do you know this is a correct rule or not? It must account for all the forms that we are dealing with. Say, for examples, we are doing now Sandhi. We had this ecogenogy. So what you are getting? The E is replaced by ya, U is replaced by O. Is it for in all places or not? How do we know? So that remains for testing, that what he has said, that whatever he has described, so the sutra only describes. How he describes? It describes only a data. The changes that we find in language, that is Yanadesha, Yavarala, Iurulu become Yavarala. So the rule says, wherever there is Iurulu, if they are followed by a vowel, achi, you get substitution of Yavarala. This is a general statement. This is a rule. This is a rule. Why? Because he says that wherever you find, he doesn't also restrict here. He only says wherever you find yavarala, in other way also you can interpret. How do you split a word? When a word is used, how do you know the structure of the word? So a word consists of more than two. It can be minimum two. Yes, you are the idea of binary, whatever comes today, they are talking in linguistics. So everything comes, when you use a word, you get the meaning with a two elements. One is the, whether it is a root or suffix, or a one word, another word. So when we use this, so what is saying, that wherever you use iurulu, they will be substituted by yavarala, or they are substituted. Is not, it will be, they are substituted provided it is followed by vowels. So it is conditional. So the rule is always, this is called rule because it is he is giving the change in a particular condition. So then it is a rule because it applies according to him. It should be applied everywhere. If there is exception, you can come out with your example. If there is an exception. So this rule so far does not have any exception. So far. Why? Because, so that depends upon your observational adequacy, how much you have observed. Now, Panini has not given an example, but still he rules works. How? So that shows that he must have observed very thoroughly. He must have collected the data, but we are Even using language, we do not know the data where it is applied or not. But his rule says that whatever forms are used in whole language in Sanskrit, whether it is Vedic or classical, wherever there is a change, yana desha, it must be because of ika or iurulu, ikaha, it must be there. So either you can combine them or you can also split them. So most of the grammatical rules that is used, or the sandhis, what we call, every word are split in our grammar. They ask you to split it or you join it. This splitting and joining both way, the sutra works. If you get Iurulu, if you ask to join, then you will get Yavarala. If the word is there, you want to split, so you must be split. If it is Ya, it must be E plus A. The splitting becomes easy, whether you join them or split them. The sutra tells you both ways. If you know, you can either split it. If you do not know, you can also change it. So all changes that we find in the whole of the life, starting from Veda to the classical, all the texts written in Sanskrit, the whole language, all the words used in Sanskrit, follow this rule. That's why the rule, why? Because it meets the three challenges that we are talking today: observational adequacy, then descriptive adequacy, how to describe it, that is most important. That's why the sutras are more descriptively very, very authentic, very rich. You cannot just change a word in the sutra, because it only tells you the right perspective, that what changes to what and where. So the vibhakti is used in the sutra, they represent a sentence. So all the sutras represent the sentence structure, sentence meaning. X changes to Y in the context of such. So this is what one sutra we had seen. Now let us see all the words produced or generated. So this is called also generating. Why? Because with this you can generate any number of compounds or the words we use in our languages. We can explain now that whatever words we know, atyanta, atyavashyaka, etc., can be grammatically correct. The sandhi rules, the sandhi forms, they represent two words in one word. No, they combine. That's why it is called samasa or compound. All these words we are getting in our languages are one type of words, we can say. These are all compound words. But when you join two words, it is called compound. When you split one word into root and suffix, it is called another word. We say it is we'll come to that. Now these words which are used now, so it is one set of changes. This is called a yana desha, we say in short in the prakriya. Yan means how yan is coming. When yavarala. So yavarala are not independent vowels or semi-vowels. They are the output. They are the product of ik. They are the change form of ik. So within the language, within the sound system, all sounds are not basic. Look at this, again it is coming basic and non-basic. If you look at this alphabet, that is Shiva Sutra, the first two rules are only basic vowels, o, e, uru, ulu. Only first two are basic vowels. Among the vowels, these are called the basic vowels and the rest are the output. Even a, o, eng, I, ouch, they are actually the combination of what we call generally in English, they are diphthongs. Diphthong means when two vowels are pronounced at a time. When two vowels are used at a time, I, a. That we are going to get the next sutra. So this represents that even within this system, there is a system of generation, that how change has taken place. So that is what we are, even you see here, o, u, lu, here you don't get the long vowels. Why there are no long vowels? Because they are also when we come to this, what you call the sandhi, we'll be showing that. So these dirghas are actually the product, the output of these Oiurulu when they are used, what we call the homogeneous. That is, rule is coming now. I will try. So that we are going to see that how these changes within a language are predictable. How Panini's rule account for it. That is why whenever he uses a vibhakti ikaha yan achi, now the sutra, we say it is a perfect. Why it is a perfect sutra? Because we cannot change a word. Even we cannot change the marker or vibhakti. Because that gives the correct meaning. That's why the adequacies, observational adequacy means he has not left that cannot be, or that cannot, and that can be questioned, or that can be again found out. So that is speaks of the what you call that, the what you call the brilliancy. It is not so easy. And descriptive method, you see that how the same whole data is explained in 3 words with proper vibhaktis. So vibhakti is only explains. That is explanatory adequacy. So you don't need to explain, write a letter or write a paragraph. To understand one sutra, it is enough to understand that what he is telling there. Whatever we know only, he is explaining in one sutra. Or whatever change has taken place in this regard, Janadesha, one sutra is. So 3 adequacies are met. My idea is that what linguistics mean today, how Panini Sutra are adequately framed. Long ago. What adequacy we are talking, how it is adequate, that also we can always verify with our knowledge, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, so always whenever we sutra we are coming, try to, these 3 adequacy we will take as the parameter to verify or to test ourselves, to know ourselves that how much our grammar was logical or scientific, and still it is not being changed or not challenged. Next. So we'll go today's lecture. If you look at this, so this you have completed. Next is please. Now, as I told you, when the vowels are basic vowels, okay, or E rule. So within that, how he makes a complete grammar, how it is possible. So if you have some finite only, you can go to infinite. The basic objective of the grammar is laghu. Laghu means shortest. And it should be also unambiguous, asandeha. So whatever words are used in a language, how you are going to cover that? Oh yes, I have covered everything. How can you claim that it is observationally adequate? How can you then describe? So the observation is most important. How to observe? See this, when you get the data, what you are getting? You get only few sounds, no? Say, in the 14 Shiva Sutras, only sounds are given. If you take Acha, so only 5 vowels are there, no? So, 6 vowels. O, I, Uru, Lu, if you take in Sanskrit, 5 plus A, O, I, O. 9, no? If you take 9, now what is happening? You are going to deal with the whole language. Do you mean only these 9s are used? There are also many changes, many vowels, no? But even there are many, infinite. But still, how do you fix these are the only sounds? If you fix these are only 9 sounds, that means all the rest have come from this definitely. Now, how to correlate or how to justify that these sounds are basic? Why? When you say basic, the rest are actually the output or generated or formed. Now, if you take it as basic, why you take as basic? Because if we understand these basic things and their combination, now we take mathematics we are doing, no? 1 plus 1, say 2. 2 plus 1, 3. If you 1 plus 1, 2 we are using, you get 1 meaning, 12. If it is 2, 1, it is 21. How do you get the meaning? In maths, you get the meaning, no? If it is 1, 2, we say 12. If it is 2, 1, 21. Same sound, no? Same numbers, no? But we are getting a difference in meaning. Why? Is it because of sound change, or what is the change there? How do you
The
get the meaning change?
order is
Because
changed.
because of the
Order,
place, order.
place.
This is order. And Madhavi was asking that. See, first thing, order is important. Even within sounds, the order is important. See, the sutras are written in order. You cannot change. The sounds which are using o, I, ru, lu. So what means? So these 5 sounds, vowels, if you use them in different order, you get all the possible sentences, all the possible combinations. So these 5 vowels, o, I, ru, lu, if they are used in particular orders, you get all types of changes in the language because they are the basic. It is just like mathematics. So that shows that it is a most productive system. Language, you are not learning every language, every word. You are not applying everything. You are only applying rules. Na? When you say you claim the language, you know it. What do you know? Not the words, not the sentences, but the rules, the grammar. Grammarian only helps you to say that, yes, you claim, I know. How do you know? You take my help. I will help you. So if you look at this, so one order is same vowel comes together. O plus A or A plus A. If the same vowel, so 5 vowels, no? They can come with their own vowel also, O plus A or O plus A or A plus A. Within that, you can make any combination. So all these possible only by putting them in order. So in one order is they come in the same place. When they come together, what do we call them? This is called, we call it Savarna, means homogeneous. O plus A or O plus A or A plus A, E plus E, E plus E, Raswa Dirgha both are. He is saying that Akaha, Ayurulu, now you can understand whatever he has used will be coming later on, the sutra is there. Ak means not only Ayurulu Raswa, it also includes Dirgha. Because when a sutra is made, it must imply all aspects, no? So Dirgha is included within the sounds. So whatever sound he gives, so that's why will be Hraswa, Dirgha, Pluta. Division of sounds will come. Later I will explain you. But I am just showing. If he has used even Akka, Ayurulu, it includes Dirgha as well as Pluta also. So vowels are classified into 3, Hraswa, Dirgha, Pluta. So when you use the word in the sutra, you should understand that it is for all the 3. It includes Hraswa as well as Dirgha. Whether it is O plus A, O plus A plus A, or E plus E, E plus E, or E. So all these things that you get here. Now look at this. Can you go a little? This or if you give the examples, Dirgha and Pluta. Hraswa is short, Dirgha is long, and Pluta means prolated when you elongate it. Go, Rama, when you make a distance. Okay, now, if you take to the first sutra, now look at this. So these are the examples given by the commentators. All the words, I hope most of us know that these are the words we know, we use, but we do not know how they are formed or from where they are coming. To explain our own words, own language, sometimes we need, that is how Panini helps, not only to read Sanskrit or understand, but also to read our own language also. Whatever we have, we know about the words. You know Sasanka. I hope many of us we know, but what does it mean and how does it come from? What is the meaning of it? How do you get the meanings? Sasa, Anka, Sasanka. A plus A. Like that you get this Yati plus Indra, Yatindra. So all the words we mostly use in our languages. One type you get is Savarna Dirgha. Savarna means homogeneous. If 2 homogeneous letters come together, this is, you get this Dirgha Sandhi. and it is always with ak only. That's why ak is a pratyahara. Why ak is a pratyahara? It represents only savarna dirgha. It is only ak vowels. The ayuru look, the first and second sutra, no. So it is only ayurulu. They can make if homogeneous sandhi or what we call the savarna dirgha. A plus a, e plus e, u plus u. Both harsu and dirgha can make the one type of sandhi, one type of words we call the savarna dirgha. So this is the sutra number 61101. Right? The savarna, where the savarna comes. So he has also given a definition that I am going to explain. Shavarna. What do you call this? Anudi savarnasya chapra. He will again first you know what is used, then will come how he defines. The savarna will also get definition after we finish this. So I am just introducing what is what. Okay. Once we know the data, once we know what is the rule, then we can how he defines this. What is savarna? We'll come to that. Next. So these are the examples given for all the things, akasa varna dirgha, whatever words, whatever way you can, it will be given to you. Next, please, we'll go to the next. Yes, these are also same examples in Hindi. Now, so what is happening? This AO we are talking about now. The third sutra, Shiva Sutra, Eng, AO only. And fourth is Ayouch. So Aong, Ayouch are separated. Why? So here the question comes, you are asking how to make group, on what basis? So this is all I told you, all functional basis, functional groups. Aong represent one type of sandhi, or what we call one type of words or sound, whereas I and O give you another type of sound. These are the speciality of all Indian languages or Indo-Aryan languages. Even in Indo-European, it is not much, but it is very much clear in our Sanskrit and other Indian languages. This is called, we know generally Guna Sandhi. What is Guna? Why do you need it? Who told you? See, the A, you get Nara, Indra, Narendra, Deva, Indra, Devendra, Chandra, Chand. These are the forms we know, we are using. Then what is the difference between Savarna Dirgha and this is Guna? Why he is making separate rule? If you look at this, the changes are different. There it was become Dirgha. A plus A becomes A. E plus E becomes E. But when you come to this, you see other way. What is that? A plus E, you get A. Is it Savarna? Because O is different, E is different. So they are Asavarna. When it is Asavarna, what you are getting? One type is A. O plus E, it becomes A. O plus U, it becomes O. So AO represent one category, one type of change. So what we will call it? He calls it Guna. So what is Guna? He has given you Ad Eng Guna. Ad Eng means Ad and Eng. So Eng Pratyahara is there. Third sutra, Shiva Sutra. Eng. Aong. AO represent one category of change that is called Guna. So in the first adhyaya, second sutra is Ad Eng Guna. Ad Eng Guna. Guna means what? O, A and O. They are called Guna vowels. Because when there is a sandhi, if there is O, A, O, it represents a Guna, one category, which he calls as Guna. So what are these Guna? Change comes to A and O. And O in some places, we will be explaining later. But to make it different, actually, A, O. Why separate sutra, Shiva Sutra? Eng. Eng means A and O. Aong is there, no? It is a Pratyahara. So Eng Pratyahara always represents the Guna. This is again peculiar to all our, Indo-Aryan languages. Even in Indo-Aryan, very rarely, but we have maintained all the differences. What Panini has given the rules for whole Sanskrit, both Vedic and classical languages, which are followed mostly in our languages, because these words are only used. You have this Narendra, Devendra, Ganesha, very famous, Yatheshtam. Mohotsavam. So these are the words which are used in our languages, are grammatically sanctioned by Panini's rule. To say that it is guna, so we have a rule. We can say, okay, what is guna? Panini will explain you, adeng guna. And this guna, when it takes, so first sutra 112 is actually a sangya. It defines what is guna. Guna means it represents O, A, and O. Adeng, At, and Eng. So wherever there is O, A, O in the sandhi, in the change, not beginning of a word, we are talking of grammatical formation. No, only we are talking of changes. Only when the change comes, if you have eka, that A is not a grammatical form. A is a natural sound. But when A comes as a sandhi forms, how that sandhi comes, Ganesha, it represents two sounds, O plus E. So Gana plus Isa, Ganesha. Deva plus Indra, Devendra. This A is a grammatical. That's why you need a separate definition, because it is called a guna vowel or guna shanti. Okay now? So if, and what are
Sir, I had a doubt here.
Please.
So the pratyahara here is
Yes.
ing or at, like I'm not able to understand how ading.
Eng is one pratyahara.
Yeah.
It is number three.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Auth is, there is another technique. Here even second, that sutra also you can see ad guna. What has happened? As the vowels represent their all changes, hrasva, dirgha, pluta. Now when you say ika, you say hrasva and dirgha all are included.
Correct.
But when you say at eng guna, at, what is at here is, now here he means, guna means only akara, not dirgha. Otherwise I is dirgha, no?
Right.
So I is not included. To restrict that, he has given one sutra. When a vowel, swara, is added with the takara, it represents it one time, hrasva. At means a.
So
A
this
means only
that
a.
rule is not contained here. It's in some other
Yes,
sutra.
yes.
Right?
So this at represents the hrasva akara.
Okay.
This comes in the sandhis. We will be showing that. So at and eng. So O, A, and O. Because you get, the dirgha sandhis there, no? Dirgha, there it comes, A also comes, no? But here you cannot get A. So at eng represent always guna. So guna means these three vowels, O, A, and O. So
and it won't even include the other parts
other
of
varieties. Correct.
E and U also won't.
It will not be. So whenever tokara is added to a vowel, it represents its own form, one single time, not all differences.
Right.
If it at, only a, no pluta, only dirgha or bruddhi. Will come also again. Another sandhi. And now the second sutra, 6187, it is actually sandhi sutra. What is that? When guna takes place, how that is applied in the sutra. Adeng guna is a sangya sutra. It defines what is guna. Now where it is applied, so this is ad guna. If here at means the takara is also used as in a panchami vibhakti marker. Brukhyat, bruhat, tasmat, takara. So at here means akarata. So guna takes place if there is a combination of after O or A. If you add E or U, you get guna. Here at includes akara and akara, because here it is panchami vibhakti. Akarat para, after akara or akara, look at these examples. First one is akara. If it is followed by E or U, you get guna shanti. So Nara, Indra, Narendra, akara here. Chandra, Udaya, you get Chandra Udaya. Here A, here it is O. Gana, Isha, Dirgha, you get Ganesha. Chala, Urmi, Chalurmi. Maha, here you say Jatha, Ishta, Yathesta, A plus Sati. If it is Maha Utsava, you get a Mohotsava. A and O are the product of O plus E and or O plus U or A plus E. So O and A both are included as the basic form in the first word, which is joined with the E and A, E and U, you get A and O. So A, O always represent the guna Sandhi. That's why they are called the guna vowels. And this is the place where they are used. So condition for guna is when guna takes place, if it is followed, if the E and U are preceded by O or A. Akaranta, we say akaranta. Akara, anta. Akaranta. So this is word always used anta in Paninian Sutras. You will come to there. Kurdanta, tadita, taditanta, subanta, tinganta. Anta means ending with. Akaranta means ending with a. Okay, so if your word ends with a and the second word begins with e, you get guna. A plus e, that's why a. The formula is given here. Next, if you look at this same way, we can go to the next a. Other example, sapta rusi, sapta. Here ru become ar. That's why a is included in adenguna is when it rukara gets guna, we get ar. This is called guna sandhi. Sapta rusi, saptarsi. Here the rakara raparatu, because of rukara, there is also a sutra urana raparaha. If the rukara is changing to guna, so it is followed, it is always preceded by, followed by rakara. So ar means akara. Sapta rusi, saptarsi. Here a is guna. If you make bruddhi, it will become ar. We will come to that. Next, please. These are the all, you can see that karana, kru, ana, here kru, you get karana. But if you get ram, upa, indra, it is within internal and external sandhi. I think one we have given here, when you come to karaka or karana, there is a bruddhi. Same kru become ar. So that will come to bruddhi. That's why bruddhi at oich. Look at this adenguna, how types of examples are given. You can verify very well. Next we will go to that. Next is, yes. So this is first sutra of the Ashtadhyayi, Bruddhiraj. He starts with Bruddhi, because Bruddhi is supposed to be the Mangalarth. Bruddhi means actually prosperity. So it is said, why Patanjali also discusses, why he has used the word Bruddhi first, why not Guna first? So he said, Bruddhi is Mangalartha. Because the general practice or the traditional belief is that whenever you write something, when you make any shastra, when you write something, so the beginning should be a Mangalacharana. Mangaladini, Mangala Madhyani, Mangalantani. Mangala in the beginning, Mangaladini, Mangala Madhya in the middle also, and Mangalantani at the end also. The Mangala should be Acharitabhyam, Shastrani Prathante. So all the shastras have been written with a Mangalacharana. So that's why any text you read, you will find this namaskaram, salutation to their respective, in Raghuvamsa we start with Vagarthavyo, Samprukto, Parvati, Parameshwaro that we have. And when you get this all, any text you read with Ganesha or Sara Vishnu, those believe in which God, they start with their Mangalacharana. So this word Bruddhi is supposed to be Mangalacharana. That's why he has started Ashtadhyayi with the word Bruddhi itself. So that is an indication that for Mangalartha, he has started with the Bruddhiradej. Now what? So first we saw the Guna. O, A, O are Guna. Now what about the Bruddhi? So Bruddhi is coming with the A, Oi and O. Here At means only Akara. Dirgha. Oich again, fifth sutra. Oi, O. Shiva Sutra, if you see A, Om, I, Ouch. Fourth. Okay? So, Aich means I-O only. So, that means A, I and O are Bruddhi letters, are Bruddhi. That means whenever there is a change, only there is a change. See, look at the Jana, Eka, Janaika. This in Eka, A is not a changed one, it is a natural. So, there are sounds, basically, that's why what is given the basic sounds, we call these are all Abhyutpanna. Abhyutpanna means not derived or they are not combination of anything. So we have natural vowels, natural sounds, but there are sounds which are produced or generated when combination takes place. When two words are used together. So there are these changes. So that is Lopa, Agama, Bikara. This is Bikara. These are the three objectives of the grammar. It describes only the changes like Lopa, Agama and Bikara. Rules cannot be applied to suppose A is a natural A. No, for that you don't need. Everybody knows. But when it becomes I, A plus A becomes I, Jana Eka, Janaika. How it gets I? So this Aikara is a grammatical form. It is a grammatical change. It is a combination of A plus A, which makes Aikara meaningful, so that we can understand the meaning that Janaika means a particular person. One particular person. So that is how we give Jalauka, Jala Oka. Oka means actually living, Basa. Jalauka means that which lives in water, like insects, like any insect which are very aquatic things. So Jalauka. Tatha eva, tathaiva. So these changes, when it's coming in Sandhi, this is called Sandhi. Yes, Nikhil. Yeah, please.
So if we have to break the sutra, it's basically Vriddhir At plus H, so which
Two
means
words. Yes.
Yeah.
Bruddhi means
so At would be
A, I, and O. Because when you are giving definition, you are giving a Sangya, Bruddhi. What is Bruddhi? Only these three letters, A, I, and O.
okay.
So every sutra gives you two things, subject and predicate. Or you say, Bruddhi,
Yeah.
A, I, Ouch, Iti. So that means Bruddhi means only these three letters. Wherever you get change, we are going to see also. Whatever words we are used, they are used only with Bruddhi and Guna. Bruddhi, Guna, and Savana Dirgha. These are the major changes that we find in our Indian. So Sandhi is mandatory for Indian languages because they have been used together. It is not so in any other, either English or any other foreign language. So that is why Panini's grammar is more, akin or close to our grammars, where you get a model, more examples are there, and you can understand easily that what is the grammatical rule, how this rule operates. So this is what giving this Bruddhiradij. So here Bruddhi means, so these are again Sangya. Bruddhi means, so these are the three categories. You have Savarna Dirgha, you have Guna, and a Bruddhi. These are three types of Sandhis, which are very popular in Indian languages. And we'll show that whatever change has taken place, the word formations we are going to see. These are all we are giving examples of samasas, how two words joined only we are giving now. When you come to root and suffix, the word formation comes, you can see the same rules are applied. And same changes are also there. It is same Guna, same Bruddhi. We are going to see how the same rules are applied both in word formation as well in a syntactic structure when we make compounds. So compounds represent only combination of two words, whereas word is made of Prakriti and Pratyaya. These are all connected or say linked with the binary connection. Only two. And for this, the samasa, when you come to samasa, these are only examples I am giving of sandhi. Sandhi is compulsory in samasa. Because to understand the word meaning of a samasa, we need to split into the sentence form. That's why you call Vigraha Vakya. We will be coming to the. So this is what Bruddhi Radhechi. And when it is applied, so Bruddhi Rechi. It is applied. When Bruddhi takes place, if again followed by O or A. H for A. H means A, O, I, O. All the four. Oich means only I, O. They are the Bruddhi vowels. Now Bruddhi takes place for both O and A if followed by H-E. H here means A, O, I, O. Look at the examples. Jana Eka, Janaika, Deva Aishwaryam, Devaishwaryam. A and I follows, O becomes, O and I also gets Bruddhi. O and A also get Bruddhi. Ganga, Ogha, Ganga, Ugha. Ogha means Samuha, when Ganga meets together with other rivers. Ganga, Ugha, Samuha. Ogha means Samuha, we say. So Krishna, Utkantyam, both O, A, O, I, O, when joined with O, you get Bruddhi. This is called Bruddhi Sandhi, and where that's why the condition is H-E. Though H is I, A and I, A, I and O are Bruddhi vowels. Where they are applied, if followed by H-E. H. H here means H means A, O, I, O. Both third and fourth rules, Siva Sutras.
So why does it become H-E? Where does the E come from?
I told you yesterday you had Iko Jana Chi, na? Achi means
Yeah,
if
okay,
it is E added, it represents the condition. Saptami Vibhakti is always representing condition. Achi means Ach for A. H means H for A. If H follows, then you get Vriddhi.
Okay.
Ikara represents always the condition. The Saptami Vibhakti is used as a condition. Okay, so that is Ikaranta. So next is, okay now, just like we had ecology. Always you see Vibhaktis are important in the sutras because they represent the sentence meaning. Unless we know this Vibhakti, the sutra cannot be understood. So here,
Sir, in the earlier one, when you had said At Adenguna, so
Ha.
At represented only the Hrasva form or it also includes
only
Dirgha?
Hraso. That's why Atta. Takara added means only one form.
So in Vriddhi Radhech, why does it say A also then?
At is there, no? Only Dirgha, the A is only Vriddhi form. It will not come, I mean, Vriddhi, you will never get A anywhere. Vriddhi means A, I and O.
Sorry,
That
sir, I
also
made
we
a
are going to
mistake,
see. Dasaratha become Dasarathi, no? How Da become Da? It is not Sabana Dirgha. So why you need Vriddhi? We'll come to that also. Why he has used this word Vriddhi and Guna? And why Dirgha? Same I is Dirgha, same I is also Vriddhi, na? How double rule? That also we are going to see that how Panini has used them to explain the changes, how it becomes grammatical. That also we'll see that. What just always look at the changes that is made or explained by the sutras, how much it is adequate, observational, descriptive, as well as explanatory. If you understand the technique of using of the vibhakti, so explanation will come of its own. If you know
So sorry,
the
I'm
vibhakti,
not able to understand this one. So if At includes only the Hrasva form of A, then
Yes.
in the example, why are we saying Yatha? A should not be included, right? In Adenguna.
no. Guna bhaval is A, O. Okay.
Yes.
But when guna takes place, so that's why this is a separate sutra where it is applied. Ad guna means here O and A included. Akarat. Akarat, akarat para. If it is Nara ek Nindra Narendra. Even also you get Maha is Yatha Ishta Yatheshta. A plus E also A. Takara is used in two ways. One, technically for sutras, it is actually used with the representing the same time, one time. Hrasva means Hrasva. But when it is used with the other cases, so to is also used as a Panchami Vibhakti. Panchami Vibhakti used indicates after. If that means after O or A, if you add E or U, you get Guna. Nara is Hrasva. If you add Hrasva E, you get Narendra.
Okay. So Yatha Ishta is the
Dirgha,
example of
Yatha is
6187.
yeah,
It's not 112, right?
Yeah, no. Because this is Prayoga. These are Sangyas. Sangya means you are giving a definition, one unit, one category of vowels. Guna, Vriddhi. These are category of vowels, specific which change, which are the changes. They are not the original. They have been changed in the grammatical operation. Sandhi comes
So
only.
he must have had a reason of including this in the 6th Adhyaya instead of the first one. I mean, I'm
So
sure
all
there
the
must be
Sandhi
reasons,
rules. So that is why in the whole of Ashtadhyayi, see how it is arranged. The Sandhi rules are there only in 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Sangya Sutras are given in 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
Because to connect them, and why this one, again, we will come to that para principle, how they are ordered. Ordering is most important. How 4,000 sutras have been ordered in 8 chapters and 32 pasus. That also we are going to see when we come to the sutra operations. Okay, now this is all what we are looking at is the adequacies of Panini's rules. Okay, how much it is adequate, to what extent it explains the changes in Sanskrit or in our languages, to what extent. These are the basic rules used by Panini to explain the changes in whole of Sanskrit language, whether it is Vedic or classical. Next, please. So this is what we get. Next, please. Yes.
Sir, I want to ask one thing.
Please.
Sir, this means we have 3 rules. One is Savarna Dirgha,
Yes.
where we combine the same vowel.
Yes.
The second one is Aded Guda or Ad Guda,
Huh.
where we combine this e, u, re, with
Yes, yes,
uh,
yes.
or and then it results in a, and o.
Yes, they come Bruddhi. These are
And then,
three different types of changes in the language.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
Savarna Dirgha, then Aded Guda or
If it is homogeneous, equal, O plus A, E plus E, E, U plus
Yes,
U,
sir.
U, Savarna.
Yes.
If they are asavarna, then change comes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So there are
Thank-
two ways. One is savarna, one category.
Yes, sir.
Same vowels. Aka means Oyurulu only, basic vowels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Same basic vowels. If they come of their own, then you
Yes.
the same type you get savarna dirgha. That's why it is called savarna dirgha, not ordinary dirgha. We'll come to that. There is also anga stem formations. There it will not be savarna. Will also explain that. You just remember these words, savarna dirgha. There are also other dirghas. Will come later. So
Okay, sir.
first,
Thank you.
then you get this guna, another type, A O.
Yes, sir.
Or AO. Similarly, Bruddhi. So first sutra, I am giving the Sangya Sutras in the first chapter. And the second chapter, this second rule is sixth chapter, where it is given the Sandhi. Where the Sandhi takes place, what is the condition? HE.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now, next, if we go to the next sutra. Yes, please. Next, please. Is it close? It is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
These are the forms also we will be giving. Try to verify with your language also. See that whatever words are used by us, how far they are grammatical, how much Panini helps us to get the meaning out of it and its thing. Yeah, next, please. Yeah, now. No, we will not go now to super. So now what is happening now? The combination which are given here, what you are finding, as I told you, the basic vowels, 5 vowels, gives you guna, bruddhi, and things. What out others? How many combination we can get? It depends upon. It is not that because it is generating. How it becomes generating? With a finite set, you can go to infinite. Now, how many finite set we have? How many sandhis we have? Now, one we have seen so far. This is guna, bruddhi, and dirgha. Right? Okay? Guna, bruddhi, and dirgha. And the
Yes.
first lecture we had taken yana desha, yana. So if you just check with the guna, with the jana desha, in guna what is happening? O plus E, you get A. Please, previous rule, please. Guna rule, please. Yes. So in guna, what you are getting is O plus E is A. It is one order. Now you change the order. You can also change the order. When you are using language, you are not borrowing from everybody. What this called grammar is the soul of language. Why? Grammar cannot be borrowed. Only vocabularies are borrowed. This is the grammatical rule. Within the same sound, you have to produce whatever you are possible. No, you are not borrowing. So look at this order. If it is O plus E, you get A. If you change the order, E plus A becomes Yan. That's why Yana Desha, the first sutra, we deal with Iko Janachi. The Iko Janachi, it is just here the opposite of Guna. Correct? Eh? It is just up. So it is the order. With the same sounds, if you use different order, you get different types of combinations. That is why whole language is used by the people. It is not only Panini. It is all used by the people. Panini is only giving the rules. That's why William Jones told, no, it has a wonderful structure. Why it is wonderful here? Everything is systematic, logical. The combination within this finite set, or Rulu, if you make any number of, how many combinations you can make? That gives you different types of sandhis or different types of changes. So on you get this. If you put them together in the same homogeneous letter, you get Savarna Dirgha. If it is Asavarna, so if it is O plus E, you get A. If you can change the order, E plus O, you get Ya. It becomes another varieties. So like that, how many changes we have? If you work it out, I have made it. So you can also say, now just like that. If O plus E, you get A. Okay, if E plus A, you get Ya. Now, if it is O plus A, if it is O plus A, what do you get? We had this Janaika, Jana, Eka, Janaika.
A.
You become Oi.
I.
It becomes Ruddhi. It is all coming within that, no? If O plus E, you get A. If it is O plus A, take the A again as a part of this. O plus A, you get Oi. So Jana, Eka, Janaika comes. Now you change it. A plus A, what do you get? Make another one. If you make A plus O, what do you get? If it is A plus O, you get Oya Adesha. Ne, Ana, Nayana. Examples we are using in our languages. O plus E plus O plus A plus O. Yes, Aya. And if it is Oi plus A Oi. No, Oi plus O, you get Ayo. Ayo, Dirgha. So you first Dirgha, please. First, yes. So Aya first comes in Nayana. And Aya comes when you get Nayaka. So these words are very common to all languages. How do you get it? What is the grammar behind it? How do you call it scientific? Why you call it grammatical? Why you call it sadhu? You change it, no? Can we change it? Because grammar gives you the correct meaning, the structural meaning. When do you get this A? This A represents O plus E, you get A, no? But there is also A without O plus E. That is why the guna you get, no? Guna sandhi, it is not only O plus E A, but guna is also simple E also becomes A. E individually also becomes A. When you say, can you give the example right, please? Ne plus ana nayana. Deepa, can you do that?
Sorry, could you repeat that, sir?
Ne plus ana nayana. Ne, ne plus ana nayana. Okay, so we are getting a Aya from this A. Now, where do you get this A? It is not O plus E. This Ne again coming from, so that's why you go to the root. It is coming from the root Ni dhatu, Ni. Please change it. Ni plus Ne changes to Ne plus Ana Nayana. This Ni is actually Dirgha. It can be Hrasu or Dirgha. So look at this. Whatever words are formed in the language, Sandhi is there. But there is one type Sandhi between two sounds, that is when you come to Samasas. But here there is no Samas, it is only one word formation. This is coming under word formation. I am going to explain. That is why the difference. What is happening here? Now when we make this A is also independent, A is also there. When it comes, so Ni has become Ne. It is also Ekara is Guna. That's why it is said Guna, no? Guna is not applied only O plus E as Guna. It is also applies to the same E also can become Guna when we say it equals the, it comes with the verbs. We'll come to the, when we will derive the, how the words are changing, verbal form. Yes, please. Yes? Yeah, please tell. Nikhil? Or,
No, sir. I think Bhaskar was asking, can everyone see the slide?
yeah, please.
Yeah.
Bhaskar, please. Ha.
Apologies, I just was not able to see the slides. I'll just disconnect and rejoin.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now look at this. Whenever a sutra is formed, it is not only, the sandhi is only for samasas, but sandhi is also, I told you, no, it is also for internal, for the formation of word also. So all the words used in our languages can be samasa or otherwise. Samasa represents combination of two words. This is the first concept used by Panini. And we will also see how they are minimum two. For a samasa, you need minimum two words. Maximum can be any number. For we have lengthy samasas in Sanskrit only. But the principle is 1 plus 1 only. all will be embedded. Embedding is there, embedding. Nature of language also you will see
So,
that.
so what's the difference between samasa and sandhi?
Samasa always takes between two words, two separate words. They see Nara Indra, Narendra. It is a samasa. But when you make Nayana, it is not two words. It is one word made out of root and suffix.
Okay.
Okay? So Ni is the root. It changes to Ne. Then the suffix Ana is added. You get an Ayana. How they can, again, Panini's rules are there. We'll come to that. This comes under word formation. A word is formed. How? Again in binary. Root plus suffix. In Samasa you see also one word with another word. 1 plus 1. Again binary. When they are used immediately. In whatever words we are making Sandhi, these are again conditioned by they must be in immediate vicinity. That's why it is Panini has given the rule Paraha Sannikarsaha Sangita. When two words are very close, immediate. So what is immediate relationship you will see in our word structure, whether it is Samasa or this, what we call this, we are going to see Nayana, they are coming under Kurdanta. I will be explaining that. So look at this. All the formation that is taking place, they are following certain rules. What kind of rules? How do they change? So we see the same Sandhi rule, same Guna, same Bruddhi. It may be within the words, or sorry, between two words, or within a word also. But they just look at when you make a rule, how much it is powerful. Why it is called generative. Pandit gives only one rule. He tells you these are only 4 basic vowels, 5 basic vowels. With that, how many combinations possible? You make it. So language is not changing outside these basic vowels. So the change takes place within it. It is self-developed language, is self-developed. Now Chomsky is telling, no. It is self-developed. It is not borrowed. It is structured. It has its own rules. And rules are made within its own sounds. Just that. Same 5 vowels will give you all kinds of vowels on this. Same will be case with the consonants also. We are not anything borrowing. This is our own, original to our language. So that's why though Sandhi is common for all, so no, this is not Sandhi. You write that word. Word is root plus suffix. Samas is word plus word. You can show that. Okay? Root plus suffix, you make a word, and 2 words, word plus word, you will become samasa. Okay? That we will see what is this word, what kind of words again we are going to see and explain that also. Okay now. So look at the Paraha, Sannikarsaha, Sangita. Sannikarsa, it should be Murdhanyasa. So Sannikarsaha, Sangita, which are very close, immediate. The sutra is there. So whatever structure is given, whatever rules are framed, Panini has also kept in mind how do you apply them? When do you apply them? See, just look at this. When he makes a rule, how it goes for both. Forming a word, see what we call today word formation. Panini has shown first how the word is formed. It is the root plus suffix. If you read Bloomfield and even those who have worked on phonology, they always refer that if Panini would not have been there, they could not have got this concept of morphology, morpheme, root and suffix. The root and suffix are used only based on our Prakriti and Pratyaya. What we say, Prakriti and Pratyaya are used. You read Bloomfield, I am not telling this. That is what I got interested that how much we have and how much is used today, how we can become more familiar with our own terminology than by using always English. So we were reading Sandhi, Samasa, you get confused. But if it is a compounded word, you will say, okay, very fine. Why? Because we are acquainted with it. But once you acquaint yourself, what do we get in our thing? We know Sandhi, we know Samasas. They will say morphophonemic. Morpheme, phonemic, you have to make everything. But our Sandhi is enough. One word is enough to explain that. What is Sandhi? How the vowels come together, what type of vowels. So it is a combination of basic vowels. So always we have basic finite set with which we can handle with infinite set. what Chomsky says generative grammar is, what is finite, so which can be fixed in the sense that which are the basics and from which all other things are coming, changing. So change is not outside, it is all inside. Within the language, change is taking place. But the language follows rules. So all the changes in the language can be explained in terms of rules. That is why Panini rules, just they say it is a model. Why? Because whatever change has taken place in Sanskrit language, which is so vast and most, we say, complicated. But you can see that all complication can be solved by his one rule. If you understand one rule, all complication will be removed. Your doubt will go slowly if we really understand this. What is a rule system, how a rule is made, how it is, and how it explains. This is what this adequacy is, what is made today, the parameter. So these are three parameters are made very well, 100% with Panini's rules. Because of that, we are not able to change it. That is my experience and feeling. As much we know, as much I have seen, I have read, I have tried to just bring it, that what our system is, knowledge system. In 5th century BC, Panini wrote all this. What for whom? So that is what you get the Parasarnikarsa Sangita. It tells you that immediateness, the immediate constituents, whether it is Prakriti and Pratyaya, root and suffix, or one word with another word. When they are in close proximity only, Sandhi takes place. That also we'll see when you come to Samasa. I will explain when you come to Krudanta also. Now all these words that we are getting here, you can think of any combination within these 5, whether Panini has done it or not. So I have given you some 4 or 5 rules now. Just any other combination you think. So that can be also looked at. So that's why importance is to know the Maheshwara Sutras. The Shiva Sutras are very important. If we know them, and how many have you mastered, try to know, because that is the first thing that we should know, like alphabets. Try to make, and next class we'll see. Now what is we are getting to there? Now what this system tells us? This is a system. It is innovation of Panini. He has made the rules. He has coined the words, pratyaharas. He has used the word anubandha, the eth letters. How does it make it? Why he did this? So one you get coding, another we call the eth letter anubandhas. It is just like tagging. If 2 things are understood, the whole language, whole grammar, you can understand what Panini is doing, how many rules, why he has made 4,000 rules. Even he is precise, Laghu, very short, still he has made 4,000. Why? He has not left any exception even. That is why the rules which are used, they are used in 2 ways, in whether it is linguistic in general. It is some rules are general rules, some are exceptional rules. There is no rule without exceptions. It is also understood by all in every science. Whenever one makes a rule or hypothesis, every rule has some kind of exceptions. But these exceptions are to be seen in a very serious manner. What does exception means? Is the author left it, or this is used after him? Many people question. So there are certain works in Kerala, those who are, I think Bhaskar will know, Apaniniyam, Kerala Panini, he has met in that Bhattatiri, that there are certain forms he has given which are called Apaniniyam, means which do not follow the Panini's rules. You must know. But always look at the first grammar written in Malayalam, that is Kerala Paniniyam. Bhaskar will tell us, Bhaskar, you must what Kerala Paniniyam means and when it was written and how it was written. It is a very interesting text. So there,
Yes, Kerala Paniniyam is a famous grammar that was written by
Narayana Bhattacharya.
that was actually written in the 20th century.
13th century.
The first grammar was written actually in Sanskrit.
Okay. But this is
So that
Malayalam or
was written in
Sanskrit? Kerala
It is a
Panini in
grammar
Sanskrit.
of it was a
Malayalam
grammar
language.
of Malayalam, but written
Okay.
in Sanskritam.
Okay.
This was in the 13th century.
Uh-huh.
The Kerala Paniniam is the most authoritative grammar that was written actually in the early 20th century.
Okay. Oh, good. We like to have some, reflections. What happens there, and but still, then Malayalam is considered to be somewhat peculiar. We'll come to when we come to syntax. That all we see. Try to compare our languages. We'll come to that. So now, what we are showing is that
This call is now being
Sanskrit
recorded.
or the Panini's grammar. Many people don't like Sanskrit. Okay, we are not using Sanskrit, but we are using Panini. Why? Panini's rules. How much it is linguistic, how much it is logical, and why it has not changed. Everybody says, no, why Sanskrit is changing? Change Sanskrit. Can you change Sanskrit? So this is what the wonderful structure it has. And whether Panini made the language or language made Panini. Because of language only, Panini became a great grammarian. Because language is used systematically by the people. So people understand the rules. They use the language. Panini has only tried to make out that how they are using the rules. What kind of rules? That's why a model. He doesn't say it is 100% something, but it is adequate. So Chomsky helps us to interpret Panini, understand that what Panini rules are more adequate than any other rules. That is our idea, to know that how much it is linguistic. Why? Even Chomsky is trying to change rule ordering, as I told you. You will find all with the immediate constitutive relations only the change takes place. Whether it is Sandhi, whether it is word formation, whether it is compounds. These are also there very much in Panini, which we are talking today, derivation inflection morphology. But anyway, now first thing is that the first basic vowels, what I have given here, try to see that how many combinations possible, because language changes within itself by using its own material. So 5 vowels takes care of all types of sandhis available in any language, in any of our languages. If there is extra, please tell. Try to find out. Grammar has to work out. Grammar means you need more working. Because it is not a story or a poem that you just think. You have to give proof whether it is right or wrong. Unless you get exceptions, we cannot say that. So the rules operates, that continues till we find, just like the Kerala Apaninium, because he found, no, these are also the Apaninium means what? Whether it was used at the time of Apanini. We don't know. So there are always questions, there are also answers, because questions will come what we do not know. The answer will come if you know the fact. It is a time, We say that changes takes place at different times in different places. So when a grammar is written at a particular time, it is a descriptive grammar written at a particular time. In his time, the Sanskrit was used in such a way that all the forms used in Sanskrit language till today, we are following the same rules. I think in my first lecture, I had told all the commentators in the whole of Sanskrit literature, whether it is Nyaya, Mimamsa, any Shastra is written, all texts are commented by commentators by following only Panini's rules. Why? But they don't find any, even to explain Nyaya text, they need Panini's rules. Mimamsa, Darsana, any kind of text written in Sanskrit are explained by commentators only with their part. That's why it is called Mukham Vyakaranam. So Vyakaranam is Pradhana. Pradhana say Pradhanam cha Vyakaranam. Satsu Angeshu. Among the 6 Vedangas, Vyakaranam is Pradhana. Because if you know grammar only, you can read any text. If you don't know Sandhi, if you don't know Karakas, this, how the change takes place, then how you are going to explain the meaning of a word or a sentence. So that is why it is called Pradhana. So now there are various combinations also within vowel itself. You try to work it out, how many combinations possible, and I have made it, but we will see sometime when it comes later, because now this is what about the vowel sandhi. We have tried to cover the major vowel sandhis. There are also other sandhis that will be only while reading books, you will be finding more and more. We will try to take up what is, I am trying to do. The next is, next we will take some consonant sandhis. Though this is actually the model. Just keep this in mind. These are all going to be used all through the grammar, the rules of Panini. Either he will give you a sandhi, the word root plus suffix, or talking of samasa. Okay? And whenever we are using the rules, Panini is using, it refers to either a word formation or either. Now, this, I was going to tell you that. Now, look at, can you please go back to, I had told you the 3 sets of sentences which gave in the beginning. Remember that they are the basic sentences. Just like sounds are basic, so also we have some sentences which are basic. Go to the first type of sentence, Ram is going home. If you look at one category, one set, Ram is going home, then we give examples from all languages. Right? Can you show the first lecture?
Yes, sir. Just a minute, sir. I'm just
Well, please.
bringing that up.
Because what we are going to, when these words are used, why they are used, how they are used in the sentence, why you need these rules. So whatever words are used now, where they are used, so they are called words only when they are used in sentence, no? So when which sentence it is used, how many sentences you can produce? Yes, please, sir. Satput sir.
Yeah, was Panini's grammar not sufficient to deal with Malayalam? That a separate grammar was required.
One second. I'll come to that. Now we look at the first. Now to change this, Deepa, you change this one. The subject, object, verb. No, first is for English.
Sir.
The Indian languages have SVO, ulta. Subject, verb, object is there. It is for English. Our is SOV, correct. This is the correct order. Now, if you look at this, these are the languages we have so far, following one order. Okay, now, the next group, you please go. Second group. That is English. Correct. Subject, verb, object. This is Indian language. Now, look at the second group I had given you. What does it mean? Are they related to the first group or different? So I had given you 3 groups. One is first group that I have given, Ramaha Gacchati. So the first sentence represents Ramaha Gacchati, represents the whole, all other sentences, right? In our languages. It is one sentence only, used with the different forms. Okay? One sentence is used with the different forms, the first. Now come to the second, third, and fourth. Here you have, so what are these? They are also same or different? They are also same as Ramaha Gruham Gacchati or different? We have given them 4 because whatever first is, everybody knows, whatever these 3, are they related to Rama? Are they same or different? So here you get 3 different words for the same Rama. Why 3 different? So one is Dasarathi, which tells that he is the son of Dasaratha. The form is look at Dasarathi. So the second is telling the third, Sitapatihi, the husband of Sita. And fourth is Ayodhya Sasaka, the ruler of Ayodhya, ruler. A person can play different role. Different role mean how many roles? Any number of roles. If any number of roles, then you cannot make rule. What this represent is that these 3 different words represent, or the what we call the 4 sentences, all represent one sentence only. Why? The first word is only changing here. The first word is replaced, Adesha. In the place of Rama, you can use Dasarathi. In the place of Dasarathi, you can say Sitapati or Sasaka or Yudhashasaka. What does it mean? A person has different roles. How many roles one can take? Maximum 3 roles it indicates. Either as a son, or as a husband, or as a ruler, or the maker, whatever way. So it indicates. There is no fifth one here. Can you add any fifth? You can think in any language if it is possible. So this
Sir, I have a
becomes a
doubt here.
finite set. Yes, please.
So the fourth form, why
Yes.
can't it be similar to the third form, which is just a simple samasa, Ayodhya Shasakaha? Why do we have another ya there? Ayodhyaya
No,
Shasaka.
wait. This is actually this. Actually, I want to take the word Sasaka, right? I want to take the word Sasaka. Sasaka means the ruler. So Rama is also ruler, no? To make understand Rama, so Ayodhyayaha Sasaka. It is a Vigraha Vakya. So the ruler of the Ya indicates Sasti. Ayodhya Akaranta. Sasti is Ayodhyayaha Sasaka. Okay? He is the ruler of Ayodhya. If you take out of Ayodhyayaha, actually Sasaka is the word. It is Sasaka. Means a ruler.
Okay. But so for Sita Pati,
Ah,
he is the Pati of Sita,
yes.
but we don't have the the form that we have in the fourth sentence.
That is what they are different, no? Where is the difference? So there is a difference in structure. Though their role is same, meaning is same, but they are used with a different structure. So that means you can use a word with a different structure, so then you call it adjective something. Now what is this? When you say Dasarathi, what does it? How does this word comes? It is Dasaratha plus E pratyaya, no? Here it is a noun formed with a noun plus a suffix. Say for example, one suffix E. Dasaratha plus E. Can you write? Dasaratha plus E. So you get the change is Dasarathi. That also will explain. It is one type. It is used in this Dasarathi. So Dasaratha plus E. Okay. If you take this, it is Sita plus Pati, no? Sita Pati, two words are there. Sita plus Pati. So if you take the Sasaka, what do you get? Sasaka itself is a noun. What kind of noun? See, all are nouns. Why you have put one category? Because they represent one sentence, because they belong to the same category. What is the category? Is what we call in English noun. For Sanskrit, we can say these are all kartas. Grammatical function is karta, but semantically they are different. One represents the quality or the guna, the son of Dasaratha. Another says the wife of something. Of we are adding now, and ruler of Ayodhya. Different relations. Our meaning is only relations. You will see when we come to Karakas. Meaning is nothing but relations that we have between the words or sentences. So what you look at this, if Dasarathi becomes Dasaratha plus E, so there is a change in the form Dasarathi. If it's Sitapati, so you can like this Ayodhyaya, Sita is Akara, you can Sitayaha Pati, Sitapati. For every compound, for every word, the form, so this is called word formation. The words are formed from their underlying structure. Madhvi, Bhaska, those are linguists. They can very well see now. And Sasaka means Sas Dhatu. It is a root plus suffix. You get a verbal noun.
Yes, sir.
So we have 4 categories of words. Nouns, grammatically, structurally. One is basic, what do you call this? Non-derived Abhyutpanna, Rama. Panini will give you such Pratipadi, we will come to that. I'm just giving hints that all the samasas, the words we have seen in all this on this can be brought under this 4 categories only. There is no 5th categories. If we explain these 3 different categories, then we can say any word you are using in your language, any sentence you make comes under this only. Yes? Right or wrong? Can you get a word other than these 3 types or 4 types as subject or karta? These 3, last 3 are called derived forms. So one is derived from the noun, you get Dasarathi. Another is combination of two nouns, you get we call samasa. And Sasaka you get from verb to the noun, verbal noun. If you get a fourth category or fifth category, then you can come out saying that. Unless you make a finite set, you cannot make rules. And your rules should be such, they should explain these four means, you can explain any word used in your language. So this is what generative, how you apply it, how do you understand it, how Panini has minimized. That's why even first group comes under same second group also will go there. They can be replaced. You can say Rama Gachati, you can say Dasarathi Gachati. The same thing can be applied to any language also. So your rule, what is going to give you three rules. So one for Dasarathi, Anasita. So what does it mean? That the words which are used in our languages are not borrowed. They are only derived from their own roots, own source. From Dasaratha, you get Dasarathi. So any word used in a language, any noun, we get another noun. These are Dasarathi is a form of nominal adjective, we say, because Dasarathi can go with Rama. Dasarathi, Rama, it becomes an adjective. This is one type of words used in our language. You have Bhagirathi, you have Gargya, you have Vaishampayana, Bhadarayana, so many names you know. All these names are coming under this category. Second category, you get this noun plus noun. So first one becomes adjective, but here noun plus noun, you become noun. Can you give it, please, Deepa? First, Dasarathi, noun plus suffix becomes a noun. You can n plus suffix, n plus s, not write full. Noun plus s, it is one type. You get word, that is a noun, equal noun. Second is n plus n. N plus n. N plus n is also a noun. Then it is verb plus suffix, v plus s. V plus S. Three categories of words. Are they three or one?
So, but here,
Yes.
how is this verb?
S is always suffix. S is always suffix.
For Ayodhya Shasakaha?
N plus N. No, here Ayodhya you take out, only Shasaka. Ayodhya will come as option. No, it is just like of relation only. Otherwise, Shasaka word is formed with V plus S, verb plus suffix. Ayodhya, it is coming, Subhan will come to that. Shasaka, the word Shasaka, Gayaka, Pachaka, all the words we are using. No. What are these all? V plus S. Here S means suffix. When you write suffix, you don't put S plus, you can put dash mark, dash. That is suffix, root plus suffix, or noun plus suffix. Minus, you can put dash mark. So it will indicate it is a suffix. So now you see this, what is given here is the second group.
Sorry, didn't get it. Dash where?
N plus S is there, no?
Huh?
It is a noun plus suffix, no?
Okay.
So to avoid confusion between plus and, you can give dash mark.
Oh,
Dash
this
means
here?
it is suffix, yes. Noun plus
Like
suffix.
this.
This is suffix. Here also V minus. No, noun plus noun is correct. There is two nouns. There are two words joining together. You are getting one noun. Here, noun plus suffix, you get another noun. And here, the verb plus suffix, you get also another noun. V minus, you can put dash, V plus dash, minus dash, or the minus dash formula. See, there are three types. So how many nouns we have in our languages, if you look at for Panini? Only 4 types. Only 4
But
types.
isn't the first word Rama, that is also made from a verb and suffix, isn't it?
That is coming from verb, but we are talking category now as a noun. Okay. They are used as, when they are used as karta, representing one category, or subject, what they say, or agent, whatever is used. Now they are forming one category of grammatical function, that is a agent or subject, we call it karta. The noun used here are supposed to say for karta. For karta we are using. Now karta, what is used here, it is one or many. It can be a single word, it can be also a complex word. What do you, complex means either root plus suffix, or noun plus suffix, or noun plus noun. 3 varieties of noun. They give the same meaning, same function. That means they are one, no? That's why we're telling one category. That's why they have been used in one place. One place. Yes, please. This is called paradigmatic relation. What Saussure gave. Paradigmatic means in a paradigm, they represent one category, one function. But structurally they are different. Grammatically they are formed differently. Ram is a abhyutpanna, underived, we call in linguistic terms. It is, as a noun, it is one. It is a name of a person. Dasarathi is representing, it's Dasaratha plus suffix. No, it is the son of Dasaratha. So it is another category.
So
which
what's
is
the term for underived?
Yeah, Rama is underived. All others are derived. When you will come to morphology, this is all derivation, comes under derivational morphology. All the linguists should note this. Panini has made clearly stated. These 3 forms are derived from their source. It can be noun, it can be verb, or it can be noun plus noun. These are the maximum categories can be used in the as a noun category. So first category of sentences and the second category all represent one type. All are nouns, all are kartas. So all sentences are, so these are produced, generated. The first sentence, what we give first group, they are normal, what you call underived, names only. The other forms that we are getting from the, for that, they are all derived with a particular suffix or particular. So there are only 3 derivational forms, 3 types. Any sentence you use in your language, try to see whether you get more than this, any other noun other than these 4 categories. That way, unless you make a finite set, you cannot make a rule. Always remember. Unless your data is, observation is perfect, observation is complete, we cannot describe. To make a rule of anything, to be observed completely, adequately, that there is no exception. Panini has restricted, defined the nouns only within these 4 only, that all your nouns used in our languages can be maximum these 4 types. Then we'll explain how it is 4. What are the difference? First, we have to know that these are the maximum possible sentences or structure of words. Any word we are using in your language, in our languages, whether there is beyond these 4, that we have to see in our own languages, any language we speak. So Panini always comes to the finite set, keeps the finite set, then he makes the rule to say that you can get infinite sentences if you know this finite set. If you know these nouns are correct nouns are correctly used in our languages, how they are correct, what are the rules they are followed. So whenever we talk subject or karta, who is a karta, what is a karta, what is a noun? Noun is given by the, so the technical we say subject, but noun is the category. Our nouns, though we know there are so many types of nouns, but for grammar, it is only 4 nouns. 1 is underived, 3 are derived. So these are the structural grammatical forms. Grammatically, they are 4. So that is his idea that all the language sentences were used in our language. Particularly, he has taken Sanskrit. So you do not find other than these 4 categories. So always a sentence begins with any of the 4. It can be used as an object also. In any role, you can use them. But only all the words used in sentences come under these 4 categories. Then only he goes for the explaining what is, well, Dasarathi you get, how you get Sthapati, how you get Shasaka, Gayaka, Pachaka, etc. So for that he will give, when we come to morphology, I will give. He gives only 2 rules to explain these 4. Only 2 rules he has made to explain these derivational forms. One is always underived, abhyutpanna, the rest nouns are derived. So language is made out of self-developed system. What Chomsky is telling today, Panini has established, the language is a self-developed system. It follows its own rules. People are using rules. They know the difference between them, but still they are using them in one sense, with one role, whether it is subject or object. So all words used in our sentences can very well be captured only with these 4. That is why I gave you second set, because these are all derived. They can be, all sentences can begin with this. Any sentence can be written, any sentence can be understood if we know. So this is how he taught it. When we come to this derivation process, when we come to morphology. But before that, I would like to take next, we'll have to give a few examples on Hal Sandhi, that is Vyanjana Sandhi, consonant. And also, we'll talk about this, what you call this, sound, Hraswa, Dirgha, Pluta, and how Panini introduced them. What are the sutra used for that? That we will try to cover it. Then we will go to morphology. So I am not describing the nature of sound, because as I told you, this ghosha, aghosha, sparsa, stops, aspirants, gotras, all these are there in Sanskrit, and mostly they are defined only in Pratisakyas and Shikyas. Those who are interested, they can also get in online. Paniniya Shikya is available with Hindi and English translations. Paniniya Shiksha. So Shiksha texts are there always to describe the nature of sounds, the phonetics. Panini is only bringing in the phonology to explain the morphophoneme, the sandhis. From that you will know which sound changes to when and where. So that is how we are doing with the Sandhina. It will include both phonemic study, phonological change, how a sound changes when. We'll saw with the vowels, we'll see also with the consonants, which consonants goes. Again, we have these pratyaharas that also will use it, 1 or 2 sutras to explain how consonant sandhi is also made by rules. His rules we'll be seeing Vyanjana Sandhi, what we know it. So that we'll see that. Just be thorough with this particular, see his concepts, his idea of rules, his language he is using, the technical language, the code, everywhere you see that. It is only codes that tells you what is what. So that is why it gives us the adequacies to what extent we can prove or we can realize, understand, and what modern linguistics, what Chomsky is trying to, why they always refer to Panini, that Panini has not left anything that you can add today. and with language like Sanskrit, which is so vast. That also will be trying to give a comparative always, that what linguistics has developed today and how it was developed some thousands years before. This is our Indian knowledge system. Just to know, to share with you what our system is, how much it is scientific and why it is not changed. Okay, so with this we'll close today, and we'll request all of you try to repeat these Shiva Sutras again, and when we'll come next class, please remember maximum, because everything is there coding. The whole Shiva Sutras. 14 Shiva Sutras are meant for you. Everything you will see from there only it is coming. In all our rules, how Shiva Sutra plays in, I told you this is the coding which is used only in the sutras, not any other word. Unless you understand that ik, yana, acha, eche, echi, or we will not be able to read the sutras. So that's what he has given, that how you can make formula. So this is what the Panini say. Just to understand, you can, any doubt we can have later on. This is what, and these three groups always keep to you. I will try to say, I have told you, this is the basic sentence, the basic grammar. These are the basics for us. These sentences, three groups I have given, how we will try to relate. Okay, so that will be our main goal, to show you where we do. Okay, okay, please see you later. Okay, anything? Now we can close the recording. Now we can have discussion if anybody. Okay, any question?
So Sitapati is Samas Shashti Tatpurush, is that it?
I will come to that side. That's why when you come to Samasa, we'll explain this. Tatpurusas, how many Tatpurusas, how they are fixed. What is the Samasa? How many types? All we are going to deal with when we talk about Samasa. So that I have kept these three derived forms. We will take separately after finishing this and the Sandhi, consonant Sandhi. When you come to morphology, this is all come under morphology.
Yes.
How a morpheme is formed. What is a morpheme? How Panini made this categorization. So that also we are going to do. That when you come to morphology. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, please. Anything? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So let us close and see you next week. In meantime, I have given all the sutras. Try to make, give examples from your language, how far it is applicable, where they are applicable. The categorization, try to find out. This is called Krudanta, Tadita, Samasa, what Panini says. These three varieties of sounds, words we saw now, they represent Krudanta, Tadita, Samasa, what Panini has used. That also, we'll try that way, we'll explain when you come to morphology. Okay, so thank you all for joining with us, and hope we will try to learn more maximum possible. I have tried to give you clarification. If any doubt, please tell, and in clarification also you can, because there are all linguists, they should tell us whether I know speaks Chomsky, not just like that, whether it is a reality, whether it is similar, whether it is any difference. If it is there, you can also tell me so that we can correct. There is nothing that what I read everything completely. What I learned 30 years before, not now I am reading because it's difficult to read all these. Now new texts are coming, but basic principles, if we use, I think we can made a, what do you call that, labeling the similarities. We can see the parallels, how our developed thousands years before is now developing in the Western countries in the form of modern linguistics. So only my idea is all our Indians should know our own language also. Once you understand our grammar, Samasa, Sandhi, Karaka, you can very well understand linguistics, what Chomsky is doing. So it is nothing that is different. It may be for English, but for Indian languages, it is more familiar. We can be familiar with our terminology so that we can have a good understanding of our languages also. It is not just to follow the English rules. We have our own rules, own Sandhis. So let us hope for the best, and we will meet again in the next week. Till then, see you. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you so much.